Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a really controversial YouTube video. Now, to be clear, our goal here isn't to endorse any of this, but to break down its arguments. We want to understand a specific worldview that's getting pushed online. So we're going to follow the source's logic step by step using its own material.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. The entire argument of this video, everything it says, is built to lead to this one central and, let's be honest, pretty shocking claim. The real question is, how does the creator even get there? And that's exactly what we're going to unpack. This isn't just some political statement. The source presents it as the key to a much bigger theory.
So to make its case, the video breaks its argument down into 5 distinct parts. We're going to follow that exact structure, starting with the creator's claims about this massive media manipulation campaign, something they call the propaganda machine.
All right, first up, the propaganda machine. The foundation of this entire argument really rests on this first point. It's the assertion that there's this powerful pro-Israel propaganda effort deeply embedded all throughout Western culture, and that it's influencing everything from the movies we watch to the laws being passed.
And to back this up, the source video points to some pretty specific examples. It talks about blockbuster films like World War Z, which it claims portrays Israel as this lone safe haven. It also brings up new laws in the UK that, according to the video, could restrict online information about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza.
The video also digs into history a bit, using a pretty famous event as a key case study. It details actress Vanessa Redgrave's 1978 Oscar speech. The argument here is that the intense backlash she faced serves as this decades-old example of what happens to public figures who dare to speak out against this supposed narrative.
But the creator's central critique, where they really focus, is on those initial horrific reports from the October 7th attacks. The video claims that stories like 40 decapitated babies were, in its words, entirely untrue and were used as a kind of atrocity propaganda. The goal? To, as they put it, manufacture consent for the military response that followed.
Okay, so let's move on and see how this all connects. After identifying what it calls propaganda, the source takes a really interesting turn. It starts warning its own viewers that just knowing this stuff can be a trap, because it can be weaponized by a totally different group of people online.
And the creator has a specific name for this threat, the Instagram griffer. According to the video, this is someone whose main motivation isn't really ideology at all. It's profit. They use any kind of hate, racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, whatever generates clicks and brings in the money.
Yeah, the video argues these people aren't genuine believers. It calls their actions performative politics, suggesting they just adopt whatever hateful rhetoric works, not because they believe it, but simply because it's a profitable niche online. It pays the bills.
So, this is the really crucial point the creator is trying to make here. They're drawing a line. They argue that you should be critical of state propaganda without falling into the trap of just blindly hating an entire group of people. The video presents that kind of hatred as just another tool of manipulation, a distraction designed to keep you from looking at the real power structures.
And this idea of misdirected hatred leads us right into the source's next section. This part details what it sees as the ultimate psychological goal of all this propaganda, a very deliberate and systematic process of dehumanization.
And the video doesn't just talk about dehumanization as some abstract idea. No, it lays out what it claims is a clear 4-step playbook that's used to make violence against a targeted group seem not just okay, but actually necessary.
To really drive this point home, the source highlights a viral street interview. In the clip, an Israeli teenager doesn't react much to the deaths of Palestinian children, but then gets really angry when a donkey is mentioned. The video presents this as just stark, undeniable evidence of this whole dehumanization process at work.
And this is where the source connects everything back to that previous section on grifters. It argues that the language used to justify the conflict, calling people savages, is the exact same rhetorical tactic used by online grifters who, for example, compare minority groups to animals like rats to justify their own hateful ideologies. It's the same playbook, just different targets.
Okay, so we've covered the how and the what. Now the video gets to its most extreme claim about the why. This is what it calls the eschatological endgame. And eschatology, if you don't know, is the part of theology about the end times, death, judgment, final destiny. Even the source video itself admits this is the cuckoo and crazy part of its argument.
So the video poses this question. If the propaganda is so effective and the dehumanization is so clear, what is the real purpose behind it all? It suggests that the obvious political and media explanations just don't cut it. To find the real purpose, the creator argues, you have to look beyond politics entirely and into religious prophecy. And here it is. This is the absolute core of the creator's grand theory. The video alleges that this conflict isn't just about geopolitics. It's an intentional effort by certain groups to fulfill a religious prophecy and actually bring about the end of the world. So, according to the video, this theory is rooted in what it calls extreme Jewish eschatology. The claim is that there's this prophecy where the entire world will unite against Israel, triggering a final battle where God himself intervenes. The video alleges that the whole point of making the world hate Israel is a strategic move by extremists to kickstart this prophesied world-ending war, right now.
So, after laying out this absolutely vast and, frankly, overwhelming conspiracy theory, the video's final section completely shifts gears. It's not about explaining the world anymore. It's about offering a personal philosophy for how you, the individual, should respond to it.
And this question is aimed right at the viewer. I mean, after being told that global events are being driven by some predetermined religious script, the natural feeling is powerlessness, right? The video totally leans into this, asking, what could a rational response possibly be?
The creator's answer is emotional and intellectual detachment. The video actually claims this is a core path to enlightenment, and it pulls from all these different traditions, from Buddhism to Stoic philosophy, to argue for the power of just letting go of these huge worldly concerns.
The final justification for this whole philosophy is the modern media environment itself. The video basically argues that our brains just aren't built to handle a constant 24/7 stream of global crises, and that the media's real purpose is to make you feel responsible for things you have absolutely zero power to change. So it all comes down to this. The video's final ultimate message is one of radical self-interest. It concludes that the only logical, sane response to a world of manufactured chaos and these grand, predetermined plans is to just completely ignore them and focus only on your own immediate life and your own problem.
The source video lands firmly on its answer, framing this detachment as a kind of wisdom. But it leaves all of us with a really fundamental question. It's a question we face every single day we open our phones. Where exactly is the line between self-preservation and just plain apathy? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.